Ladies and gentlemen, on a mission from God.
On a mission from God.
It's the Divinebrothers.
You got a little bit of spunk. You're lacking this morning, my friend.
Well, I'm dealing with an issue in the house. There's fleas.
In your room. I think it's bed bugs. I don't think it's fleas.
They don't look like bed bugs. They're not round. They're like a little bit like, they're like fleas.
Well, maybe you got fleas, yeah.
Yeah, and they've bitten me head to toe.
I have none.
Yeah. I think it's just, I don't know, that room's cursed, you know? Like, it's hot, and there's fleas. I can't explain it. It's just how it is.
All right.
But the bed bugs, I don't know where they could come from, you know? Like, it makes more sense that they'd be on your side since you're by the trees and stuff. Like, what plants are by it? It doesn't make sense.
No idea.
The bug bomb didn't work, so.
Plan 2, man.
Plan 2.
Whatever plan 2 is.
Yeah. So, you had an experience recently. What'd you do?
So did you. We took a heroic dose of LSD.
I think in your mind you took a heroic dose.
Fuck yeah, I did. That's the most I've ever taken in my life. So
Well,
to
you've
me,
only
that's
done
heroic.
You've only done it once before, right?
Yeah, well, twice before, but small doses.
It affected you a lot differently than it affected me.
Probably.
Yeah.
Since you've been there, God knows how many times.
Well, it's certainly different than mushrooms, you know?
Yeah.
It's more like just kind of getting into a vibe. It's very specific in how it feels, you know? Like you kept looking at me saying, like, you're the director.
Well, you were directing where we would go next, and you know, this is the stage of the trip that we're in. It's time to change the music. How about some Taiko? Which I thought was appropriate, because I didn't know where the fuck we were headed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were very, very stationary, you know?
It's comfortable.
You found your little throne over there and just kind of melded in with it.
We moved out here. We moved over here. We went downstairs to the car and then to the beach.
Yeah.
We did.
There was a lot of little things. We did it with our buddy Bruce, and he told some long, incoherent stories.
It's too much for him. It's just he got lost in it.
He led
nowhere. That's the thing that I remember. Is just every single time we got on a topic, it always ended with, "Yep, you're right. That's it. That's how it is." Like every single conversation ended with some type of comment like that.
These stories,
circular, man.
I just remember that they always sounded like they were going somewhere.
They did
really
sound like they were going
interesting,
somewhere good,
but they never did. It'd be like I was in a church parking lot, and you know the tire broke down, and these people came up to me, and then another one came up.
Well, we were like, "What were you doing at church? You don't go to church." He's like, "Yeah, I don't." You know, and like, yeah. How did you get to the church?
Dude, the other thing was we went down to that van of his. Holy shit. That van is just barely holding together.
Love that van.
That van, you took a look in this van, and I remember just thinking, ugh, like it's just barely there. It's just disgusting.
It's the perfect vehicle for Hawaii, though. You go into the beach, throw your shit in it. You go and hiking, throw your shit in the back. You know what I mean? Like to fuck around and to do your hiking, outdoorsy shit. You need a vehicle you can just beat up.
It was more of a ship than it is.
Yeah. I've slept in the back of that van. Yeah.
Talk about fleas. That's a place where fleas would be. I'll tell you another thing I remember from the trip. So Bruce has a little dog, Cisco, you know, and I don't know what he is, like maybe half Chihuahua.
It's not a dog. It's some kind of interdimensional little creature.
You and that dog, you are bonded, soul bonded, man. I'm convinced.
Well, I lived with Bruce for 5 months, and that dog slept with me every night. So,
dude,
yeah,
there was this moment we're on the beach enjoying the sunset, and we're walking back, and all of a sudden, you and Cisco make eye contact, and you just sprint. You sprint as hard as you can.
I challenged him for the title.
Oh,
King of
man,
the Beach.
and he was 100% on your page. Like, he knew exactly what was going on, and you guys ran all the way down there, and, he was all out, and you were all out, and you did a little wah, 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 and it was, this could have been the acid, but it was like dancing. Like, you two were in perfect synchronization. Like, it was beautiful play.
Well, when he was a puppy, we'd take him to the beach, and I used to race him, and I could beat him. But over the months, now
Got
he's
better.
he's fucking faster.
He's an athletic little dog.
He teases you, the little motherfucker, because we're neck and neck, and then he knows it's getting to the end, and then he just shoots ahead
Yeah.
like it's nothing.
Yeah, he's an interesting little dog. He's got a lot of independence.
Yes.
You know, we get on this beach, and I don't know what it is with Hawaii and pit bulls. There's just pit bulls everywhere. Which
They love their pit bulls, and I don't get it.
I mean,
Whatever,
I was
man.
when we first got out there because sunset. You know, that's the time.
There's
That's
a
when
lot of people
come.
rescuing dogs, too, like terrible dogs. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this dog was abused for 10 years, and I rescued it. I was like, why?
Dude, when we went down there was like at the entrance to the beach, like 5 pit bulls
Yeah.
and Cisco, and I was scared for Cisco, but man, he just held his own. Man, he knew
Raise
who
a
to
dog
avoid.
right. Yeah.
hmm
Goes
Like-
around them.
An impressive little dog, man.
Well, I'll tell you what about the LSD thing. It was a good reboot. It did give me there's some depth to it too. It does eliminate the ego at certain points. So I do feel like I had clarity. A piece of myself came back for a bit that I hadn't seen in a long time. That's something you could only get like on a shrooms trip or a LSD trip,
Yeah.
you know? So that lingers with you. It just lasts so long.
Yeah.
Mine was 15 hours
Yeah.
to fully
Yeah.
end, I think.
I mean, I had to wake up in the morning,
yeah,
you know.
long ass trip, but
Yeah.
well worth it. I won't do that for a while though.
It's different than mushrooms.
Yeah,
You know, I always think with acid, I go into a role. I just kind of, I always think of myself as just kind of becoming a beach person.
well, Dean, you knocked on. He has these glasses. These are cool shades,
I love
and he
those
had this
shades.
old ass, cheap ass hat we got from
Yeah.
Florida. But he looked like a director, and he was like, "All right, guys, it's time to go in here. It's time to do the podcast. Let's go check out the van. It's time to go to the beach." And we were like, "Okay," you know. it's
You
'cause
guys would have just sat on your ass all day.
we
done
haven't done it
nothing.
before, man. We hadn't done it in 5 years for
I bet
me.
Bruce has done it many. Bruce is well versed in the world of psychedelics. You know, he was
Maybe.
telling all those stories and stuff.
Maybe.
But, you know, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, I wanted to try a podcast. We got a recording. It's, I mean, it's a lot of insanity.
Nonsense.
But there's some moments of cohesion.
10 seconds.
No, there's a couple. I listened
20
to a
seconds.
few. Oh, Chase, come on now. You know, it was an interesting little experiment.
It was a good Friday.
5 minutes of me trying to convince Chase to come into it. You know,
You know, and if you're going to build a house in Hawaii, you should have a porch. You should have a deck. You know, this is a lanai. Yeah, it's great, but you should have something where you can get some sunlight, barbecue out there. We got the barbecue pit upstairs on a little
Yeah.
corner we have, but
dude, let me tell you, I appreciate this house. Like, that trip made me deeply appreciate this
it's
house.
a comfortable house.
It's the treehouse.
It's a home base
Treehouse.
where you are
baby.
part of the little ecosystem right here.
Man, I remember going outside on that shit and just being so aware of the weird vibe of Maui. Like, it's like a mix of hillbilly and like rich white people and some white people who are just trying to get around doing their thing, and then there's the local vibe, and then there's all the animals going to and fro, and it's just strange.
It's a
man.
concoction of just strange.
Concoction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels a little unstable, to be honest. Like, it's just a strange place. And when you're up here, so this house is on a hill, and we're on the second floor, and we have this little, the stairs with a little tiny area that you can just kind of sit and chill on. And we're in the middle of it, man. We are in the middle of the neighborhood, like the hill in the neighborhood. And you just hear it all, and it hits you, It's just, damn.
We nailed the music too. I think you got to have good music on an LSD trip.
Oh, yeah.
So I used the music that I had, only the music that I'd picked up since I'd been here on my drives to Lahaina, which
That's
was perfect for
damn
the
good
first
tunes,
house. Yeah,
yeah.
because it was
Mhm.
appropriate. It's from the island. We switched over to this guy Tycho that Dean listens to, and it's just real. It takes you on a ride, but
Yeah.
it keeps you in a good place.
Gentle.
Gentle, man.
Yeah,
that's a good
Tycho's
word
great.
for it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was really good music selection.
Yeah, we did some of my Asian tunes, too.
Some Asian, a touch of Asian. We had good
Mhm.
tunes. You
Yeah.
know, and I think tunes can make that go really well, or that could turn it not so well pretty
yeah.
quickly.
Dude, I've done acid with Tool. it's
My goodness.
It's an interesting. That's totally different. But
Yes,
it's
it
cool
was.
though.
It
It's
is cool.
cool.
Yeah,
Like
that would be
you,
cool.
you go into a whole other. It feels kind of like going into the jungle. You know what I mean? You're like, oh man, this is a totally new environment. You know?
Well, yeah, that's true. If you're looking for that, I felt like ours fit the environment quite well.
Well, you see, when I take acid, I want to go looking. I want to go on adventures. You know what I mean? Like that's because like life is so much better savored when you got acid. You know, like head to the beach, check out the sunset, go look at some flowers.
Fair enough.
Hang with the dog. You know, like all these little things make it just a little bit sweeter.
Well, that was the most I've ever done. So for me, it was much more. I'm comfortable right here, but I am glad we went to the beach and ventured out and shit. It was cool.
Totally, man. That's
Yeah.
some good times. There's one last thing I want to mention about the trip. You know what it is?
Yeah,
Say it.
the monkey.
The monkey. Ladies and gentlemen, this monkey. Holy shit. we all had individual little experiences with this here monkey. You know, this thing. I at one point grabbed it and just started laughing hysterically, like I was a madman.
I never saw the monkey move much. You know, everything else had the waves, like the paintings were. There's one in there with clouds that just. There was some fucked up shit in those clouds.
Oh,
Every time I looked at this guy, I didn't see much.
I saw the eyes move.
His eyes, yeah.
Yeah, they're spiraling around a little bit. But
Some kind of entity in him.
I laughed so hard because all I could think is, who created this monkey? Who was the artist who had it in his head? Like, this is what I'm going for.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this fucking, like, just clearly just insane monkey. You know, like it's just so
Bhutan.
strange. It's from Bhutan, and I love the idea. I kept thinking about like once Chase is dead, it'll end up in a thrift store somewhere, and it'll probably end up on a shelf for 50 years until some other weird guy's like, "What's going on with that monkey up
It's gonna
there?"
end up in a shrine.
God only knows, man. This monkey, it's got some just energy and stories behind it.
All right.
Yeah.
You ready for some topics?
All right. We can move to some topics.
Get that pep in your step.
Let's see. How to run.
I love how you said it. You're like, how to run. Dean hates running.
Yeah.
So we were trying to talk about this to get him into it. So I love to run, but the trick to me is you got to lose yourself in the dream or fantasy. Like you can't realize that you're running. I think the problem with running is people are very conscious that they are running. I need music that's going to take me to training mode, preparing for a fight, scoring the winning play, like it's a fantasy. You know what I mean? Like it could be whatever your fantasy is, but you go there, and then before you know it, a mile's out of the way. 1.5 miles, 2 miles. So the music's important, but also where you go up here, and that's the only way I can run. I could never run just out there just thinking about my day. I've tried it. It just doesn't work. And other people listening to like podcasts trying to learn shit, I could do that if I'm walking, but not running. It's just so, and the benefit of running, or at least the cardio, is you got to sweat to lose weight.
So the problem with running is that it sucks. Like it's not fun. Like a sport is fun. You know, like you throw on the frisbee or playing a little basketball. I like swimming. Like swimming's got like a fun little sort of energy to it and stuff.
Swimming, you think about your day. We talked about that. Remember, you don't lose yourself because you got to know when you're going to touch the wall. You got to keep count. So you got to kind of stay grounded. Swimming is just falling into emotion. Yeah. I love swimming too.
Yeah, but running,
I like both.
Running's the one where, first of all, my right knee sucks. My right knee's always in pain. And like I always feel when I run, but it's just one of those things where the fantasy is never attained because I'm so into what my body is feeling. My body's just like, fuck this.
Yeah.
And I can't, zero in on whatever the fantasy is, Like it's especially running outside, like on a treadmill, it's a little easier.
Yeah.
But just outside, I don't know, man. It's just awkward. You got to pay attention to the terrain, and
I prefer running on a treadmill unless I'm somewhere where there's no people and hardly any cars.
Yeah.
So I can get that.
Well, I appreciate that you do it. I mean, it's the one thing that you like. You stay pretty steady about. You do your runs.
That's all we got right now, man.
I do stuff like in my room,
Right,
You know,
right. But for me, that's all I got.
yeah,
No
yeah.
gym.
I mean, it's something. I would much rather have a pool, though. There's a pool. I got no problem doing that
Yeah,
cardio.
no shit. We don't have
Yeah.
that either.
Well, one day.
All right.
Next one.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we got here. Oh, very important topic here. Sandwiches. Okay. Now listen. I love sandwiches. This is something
It's a
passed down.
staple of the American way.
Well,
you know?
I think it's a Conrad thing too, because our father was a sandwich man.
Yeah.
You know,
You know my first word as a kid?
sandwich.
Sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty great first word.
It's a fucking great first word. Like,
Yeah.
oh, the kid, get him a sandwich.
It's
Yeah.
a big first word.
Real word, not mom, dad, but like our real word was sandwich.
You know what mine was? It's pretty.
Toilet,
No. Juice.
juice.
Basic. Basic. You know.
It's still nutrition. I wanted the food, you wanted the drink, brother.
I guess so. I do love me some drink. That's the way to go. But sandwiches, back to the topic. I remember Dad, he used to, when we went to Dallas, he used to take me to this place called The Great Outdoors. It's up there in Addison. And, man, I didn't understand what a sandwich was until he took me there. Like, Subway is what I always thought. And you go there, you get number 12, the Outdoorsman with the works, okay, has mustard, mayo, and Thousand Island. 3 different sauces on this thing. And it's all fresh deli shit, like the fresh meat and all that.
Okay.
I take people to this place. I've taken multiple friends to this place, and you know what's happened every time?
They say it's overrated.
They go back and get another sandwich.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to say
3 separate
I don't know
times
if
that's
I've been
happened.
there. I can't remember.
Oh my God, it's that good. A great, and you know what? For some reason, the whole world hasn't gotten sandwiches. Like in Vietnam, they got the Vietnamese sandwiches. Oh, they're so good. They're shit.
Fucking French bread is shit.
Terrible sandwiches,
Shit.
man. Yeah.
It's absolute shit.
Americans got the sandwich down. They got it down. And
Yeah.
it's a shame that it's not more appreciated, man. Like a great sandwich is a beautiful thing.
Well, that's the one thing I can make. From a young age, you always had your staple, very plain sandwich as a kid, whatever it may be. There's not a lot of veggies on there. But as I've progressed through the years, you add a little more, you know, just the vegetables that you like. But you can make a delicious fucking sandwich. Get some chips mixed into that. Like, that's just a good little lunch,
Yeah,
man.
you do the chip sandwich. You put the chips in the sandwich.
I love my chips on my sandwich, man. It's fun.
That's always been strange to me.
It's
you
fun.
know?
Some people do it.
That's a side thing. Like, why?
I don't know. I like the crunch. It's like, you
So,
know?
but like, you got ham, cheese, and potatoes?
Potatoes. I guess the potato chip is the potato, huh?
So, but it's all, I can't imagine it. You know, I mean, I guess crunch is,
I mean, essentially, you're doing it anyway. You take a bite, then you take a chip,
I
right?
guess so. I mean, I don't know. I guess I like to have my sides. That's the other thing. Like, it's nice to have the basic sandwich combo, you know, sandwich chips,
Sure.
you know, like it's
Yeah.
classic. It works, you know. It's
It
a
was.
good
I
thing.
wish they had that more in Asia. Like sometimes I just wanted a good sandwich, and you're just like, fuck, they just got nonsense.
You
know?
see, so in China, like Subway, they got Subway, and they like all the employees have to speak the basic English
Yeah.
because like that's where a lot of expats go.
It's
You know,
Subway, man. That's all they know.
It's just like shit. We can. So I've been to Subway many times, and I gotta say, it's just mediocre.
It's not part of their culture, man.
It's just mediocre.
Yeah, they're not sandwich people.
Such a shame too, you know, like because I mean the sandwiches, it's to go. It's kind of like the burrito, you know, like the to go food. It's
I
very
like the
important.
wraps too. I like wraps. You know, similar along lines of sandwich. But
Sure.
wraps delicious as
Hey,
well.
do you remember in West Palm Beach the wrap place with Doughboy?
Yeah.
Man, that was a solid little place.
Well, the personality made the place. This huge black guy that ran the place, but he was always talking, just just any type of conversation
He would tell you, "Call me Doughboy."
Yeah, his name. That was his name,
That was
Doughboy.
his name.
Yeah.
Who are you? I'm Doughboy. But yeah, they had like solid little wraps, you know, little buffalo chicken wraps and stuff. I
good.
remember it. You
He did
know?
a good job.
Yeah, it was good stuff. But in China, they got like something called bao, the little buns that are stuffed with meat and stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
They had that in Vietnam.
Yeah, but I mean, in China, it's everywhere and it's super cheap. So like for the equivalent of, I don't know, 50 cents, you can get one. It's like
Yeah.
a perfect little snack.
Yeah.
So I mean, like it's nice, but it doesn't have the freshness of a sandwich, you know, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Salads.
When did we come up with these?
A couple days ago.
Huh.
But I got feelings about salads. I've had some kick-ass salads in my life, and I've had some shit salads in my life.
I love salads, man.
There's the pizza salad, which is like the worst salad ever, you know?
What?
Oh, man.
I've never heard of such a thing.
No, I'm talking you're like at a pizza place,
Oh.
and they give you like a shitty little Italian salad, which is just a bunch of iceberg lettuce and some like pepperoncinis, and like it's just awful.
Okay.
The best salad I ever had in my life was at Houston's in Dallas. This is a restaurant. They're known for ribs. I know you love the ribs there. But they have this thing called the Evil Jungle Thai Salad. Man, this thing is just legendary. First of all, it's huge, like a massive salad. They got some noodles in there, some like Thai fried noodles. They've got filet mignon steak.
Oh, yeah.
Chopped
Filet
up all
mignon
through
or
it.
the tuna or the salmon over the salad.
Mango, papaya.
Damn.
Got some fresh lettuce just all tossed up in there. Fresh, interesting,
Another fucking
spicy.
incredible lunch you can have. You know, you can have yourself a good sandwich, but there's really nothing better than a good salad.
Well, here's
With the veggies, maybe a little bit of meat, you know.
I've had good salads, but have you ever made a good salad?
I have.
I have never made a truly great salad.
I have. I should probably do that more. You know, the other thing I wanted to hit on is like potato salad, beetroot salad, shit like that.
Yeah.
Love that stuff, man.
Yeah. Egg salad.
Egg salad.
Mm.
God, it's delicious, man.
Yeah.
Those are great. What's the one they have out here? The mac salad. The mac salad's delicious. You know what I mean?
It depends. I'm not a big fan of that one we bought at the store.
Yeah.
That one just didn't quite make it for me, but I've had some mac salad that blew me out of the water, man.
I'm right, man.
I don't know how healthy it is.
It's not. It's totally
It's
not.
mayonnaise
You should stick to
and
the green stuff, man.
and pasta, you know. But like, yeah, good green healthy salad.
You ever met someone that doesn't eat salads?
No. Have you?
Yeah, I've met people that just like, nah.
Really?
They rarely ever touch salads. It blows my mind, man. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Missing out, man. Like
But-
fresh taste. I like fresh. Fresh is a good palate sort of thing.
I think people worry about that it's not too filling. They'll still be hungry.
You can have a big salad.
You can have a big ass salad.
Yeah. That's
Absolutely.
the key. The big salad.
Yeah, and if you don't really like salads, just throw some meat on it, man. Like you were saying, filet mignon, put some tuna, some salmon. Like shit,
Yeah.
it's delicious.
We should definitely like make some salad, man. By the way, I just got a Vitamix, and I really like it. It's fun. I threw some spinach in that drink we had the other day. Frozen spinach, like a huge, like nasty green chunk. Could you taste it at all?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's because it just blends like everything down and just.
Yeah, you excited about that? Yeah,
I think
you've
that's
been
a good
using
one.
it quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna use it every day. I'm gonna use
Dig
it later and stuff like that.
I dig it, man.
Because I think I don't know. I mean, you got to get the vegetables somehow. Like I just don't know. And we were juicing people for a long time, but I wanted to try this because juicing you lose the fiber. You know.
You got to eat chunks of the whatever comes out from the juice. That's what you got to do.
Oh man, no, I never did that.
Just one bite each time.
But I did start composting from that stuff. You know?
Oh yeah, I've heard that works really well for.
Yeah, I
compost.
totally composted for a while. It was cool. It caused a lot of bugs, but it was still cool.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they don't tell you about the bugs. Maybe you'd have to bury it. Maybe.
You got to put it in like the back corner of the yard or
Yeah.
something like that. But it is cool how, have you ever seen that kind of the farming where it's totally like self-sufficient?
Videos of it.
There's this guy in Vermont and he like hardcore compost, but what he does is he has chickens, like a huge chicken farm, and they just hang out over these massive compost piles and they eat the bugs in the compost piles, you know? And they shit on the compost piles too. So he has like, it's a chicken farm, but he sells the compost too. And it's this perfect little cycle, you know? It's pretty cool.
That
I
is
love
cool,
stuff
man.
like that.
Yeah, that would work well.
Yeah. Next one?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we got, okay? How do you eat your steak? We were thinking about food, people.
Yeah,
Thinking
we
about
really were.
food, yeah.
Well, to me, this is a thing where people get set in their ways, and they never change. You know what I mean? They never change. Again, our mother, medium rare. Never will have anything else. I've met plenty of people. Well done. Never will have anything.
Well done, man. That's just
It's
a travesty.
insane. Look, I've had it all. Hands down, if you're at the best steakhouse around, you get it rare. You get it rare, and you have to try it. It is fucking delicious.
Yeah.
Anybody, I'm talking filet mignon too. I mean, this is the way we're going on this, but it is might be the best meal I've ever had in my entire life. I mean, savory. A guy that does not have a strong sense of taste, I could taste that.
Yeah.
It is delicious.
Yeah.
One of the best things I've ever stuck in my mouth in my entire life.
I got to give credit to our friend Mr. Quentin Tarantino for his great Pulp Fiction line. John Travolta sitting there saying, he's like, where's the steak, steak, steak? Oh, yeah, give me the steak.
Bloody as hell.
How do you want that? Burnt to a crisp or bloody as hell? Bloody as hell,
Now, I remember it was your birthday. Now, we went to the Capitol Grill in Dallas. I can't remember. This was ages ago. But I was telling Dean, you got to get it rare. You got to get it rare. Fine, I'll try it rare. And I remember you tasting that the first time, just, oh my God. Like, life-changing moment.
This is also the filet d'Oscar at Capitol Grill.
It's
like
fucking delicious.
One of the finest steaks you can ever have, man. Like, that is next level dining right there.
Yeah, but rare is the best way to get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm a rare man myself. I think it gives a juiciness to the steak that you just can't find anywhere else.
Just to taste the soul of that animal, you know?
A little bit of the blood, get your heart pumping.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Very Texas, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Next one. All right. Okay. What do you think about Dana White?
I love Dana White. Probably the best operator of fights or whatever. What the fuck is his name? President? I don't know. But
Is he in charge of the UFC or is he just the front man?
He's the president. I think he has a lot of pull, but he isn't the head guy.
Does he own any of it?
He owned 10%.
Okay.
He sold his stake, but he's still the president. So he's probably got close to a couple $100 million. Anyway, I used to watch boxing growing up. Boxing was fucking terrible because the best guys never fought. You have these promoters. Like, oh, my guy's not going to fight. My fight's going to fight this other idiot. And they would just... You would pray they would fight, and sometimes they would every 5 years. UFC, you're always getting the champions fight. Yeah, you get some people with some bullshit records throwing in there, and you get some fucking ridiculous fights. But for the most part, the best guys always fight. And he's always talking shit. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, that fight fucking sucked. I can't believe we pay these guys this much money to do this shit. And even in the coronavirus, he's trying to put on a fight on an island. Like, mad respect, man. Mad respect for that, brother.
Yeah.
Trying to entertain us.
Yeah.
When there's no one else entertaining us, He knows they would have made a killing.
I think he has a realness to him that the fans appreciate.
Yeah.
I mean, like you say, he's willing to call a fight shitty if it's shitty.
Love that.
Yeah, and I remember he's also able to, like, get real sometimes. You remember the bad motherfucker belt?
Yeah.
Really should have been an amazing fight. Masvidal kicked his ass, but they had to stop the fight because Diaz got a cut over his eye, and everybody was like, what are you talking about? Like, it was nasty. But is that your phone? Dude, I can hear it. He came up and he was like, thought he was going to trash the fight, just be like, they should never have stopped it and stuff. But he's like, I looked at that cut and like half his face was about to fall off. Like, it was an emergency situation. They had to stop the fight. And I was like, okay, he's able to have like a realness to him. You know what I mean? Like, it's not always just bullshit, blah, blah, blah.
He's a gambler too. He goes up
Apparently
to the casinos and just
gambler.
high roller.
Yeah.
He's just living the life, man.
Yeah.
Living the life. That's what you're supposed to do. He's a professional instigator. You know what I mean? That's what he that's what he does for a living.
That's the other thing. Like, when you see him at those press
What a
conferences,
great
he's always
job.
laughing. He likes it when they get a little
What a
testy.
great fucking job. I would love to be up there and be like, yeah, this motherfucker said something, and this guy said
Yeah.
something. Just be in the middle of it. All right, hang on, boys. Wait a minute.
Hey, have you ever seen where the fans ask questions at UFC?
Sure.
Some of them ask pretty good questions, like they get under their skin. If you could ask a question in one of those UFCs to one of the fighters, what would you say?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, man.
I don't know. It would be the Masvidal or Connor probably. I'm not sure what I'd say, but it'd be a good question.
Is there a champion you don't like?
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Let's see here.
You don't like Cejudo.
Dude. This little guy that's champ. He won a gold medal. He barely beat this guy for the title, which I'm still not sure they did. But he walks around with his belts, and he's constantly telling you how he's overcome the odds. And nobody said I could win the gold. I won the gold. Nobody said I could win the title. I won. Nobody said. I was just like, all right, bro, we get it. You're the champ. Just like, where's the humility? There's none of it. You know, and he's like 5'2".
Youngest of 7 kids, single mother from Mexico.
Blah, blah, blah.
Well, hey, if we're talking about the John Jones phenomenon, you know, getting beat up by the brothers, you can imagine getting your ass beat by 6 Mexican immigrant children. Just, oof.
Just be a little likable. Nobody likes him. I don't like the guy.
I mean, that's the thing, though. Personality can't be taught, you know? Well, maybe you can. Who was the Trump supporter guy in the UFC? You remember he was like...
yeah, he lost.
Yeah, he lost, but he like adopted the persona, you know?
Yeah, but he's... really, how it worked for him is everyone wanted to see him get his ass kicked. I guess that's what he was going for.
Who was he?
Colby Covington.
Colby Covington, yeah. I mean, hey, at least it was interesting.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I could have cared less for the guy.
Yeah, well.
He got old.
Okay, fair enough. We'll move on to the next one, folks. Oh yeah, this is our big recent phenomenon here, the Tiger King. What'd you think of the Tiger King, Chase? We watched
probably
it all.
One of the best documentaries I've ever seen. Non-stop action. It was like a fucking action flick, man. It's like Judge Dredd or something like that. Every single second there's something, like a Rambo movie, like boom, boom, boom. Just when you hit, like, fuck, there was another climax. You know what I mean?
I just couldn't believe it was real. You know?
Yeah, at one point we're like, they made this up, man. They had to have made this up. It just didn't.
It goes deeper and deeper and deeper. Like it's never stays on one plot. There's always a new plot, you know, that you're just like, what?
Right.
What?
So you got the crazy bitch kills her husband, and then you got the crazy gay guy feeding people pennies. The one we were most impressed with was the white-haired man in South. Dude, this guy, high end, everybody got their own house, and he was just banging hot-ass chicks, and he got every one of them new tits when they came in. He had like 6 or 7 chicks.
Dude had a guru that he grew up with, and he like learned his ways, and he has become
he did.
Guru. But I mean, like they interviewed one of his former girls, and they were like, it made sense. Just like he was all vegetarian. He cared about the animals. He was a conservationist. He was fighting against the man. Like
that guy should be studied.
Let me tell you, man, I've known some of these cult people, you know, like on the Big Island. I knew a couple, like there was a hippie commune outside of Puna, and there was apparently like the main dude, you know, and he had those hippie chicks, like they congregated around him, you know, and it's a real thing you can do. He truly understands people.
They all had their own little cults.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Like even the chick down in, she was doing the same shit as the guys.
She had a crown that she was wearing all the time.
She had volunteers, and you had to work your way up to get different colored shirts.
They all had tiers.
Nobody got paid.
Yep.
She might have been the smartest one of all.
Oh, well,
she's got away with murder.
I don't know, man. I still think Ponytail Dude, like because he was above all the drama.
Oh, he was out of it.
He was out of it.
And he was just getting laid.
And he was just making money. I think he said it was something like the minimum price to come into his park was like $300. And like the full package was like thousands, you know? And you're just like, holy shit. No wonder he's got so much fucking money.
Homeboy was doing something right, man. He had those haunting blue eyes, too. Like, you look at it and you get sucked in and you're just saying yes.
They said the same thing about Hitler. Hitler had these piercing blue eyes, and there's account after account of people saying that they were hypnotized almost, you know? I mean, that could be like hindsight, you know, people looking back at history trying to explain how they fell under the Nazi spell.
There's something about blue eyes, man. You know, piercing blue eyes, especially when you're articulate.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you ever seen one of Hitler's speeches?
Yes.
It's got that power.
Incredible.
Like that Southern Baptist almost, you know, like just... And they do them at night by torchlight, okay?
Whoa.
Yeah. So
that is fucking brilliant.
And apparently he would make it a point to make as much eye contact in the crowd as possible. So like somebody, eye contact.
At night with torches?
Yeah.
Talk about ambiance, man.
The light flickering in his eyes and all that sort of stuff. I mean, there is something about like a connection. You know, like where you can kind of see into somebody's soul.
But to connect on a grand scale, I can do it one-on-one if you give me enough time, but to a crowd, to set the mood.
What are you talking about? Dude,
in a conversation.
nobody can give speeches better than you and me.
I don't think we can compete with Hitler, Dean. I'm sorry.
I think I could. That's right.
He ain't got the blue eyes, brother.
Dude, it doesn't matter, man. I know how to use the English language. Like, I can genuinely give a top-tier 5-star speech, no fucking problem.
If I prep, I could do it.
Yeah, and you almost never prep, you know?
It's
If you
true.
actually took the time to execute a great speech, oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I just don't think I'm on that level. I'm just not that good.
You know, man, it's one of the things Christianity gave me is like mom always made sure to go to like the best preachers possible, you know?
That was so important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't mind going to church growing up in Alabama when we went to the kick-ass preacher because, you know what, he was funny.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm laughing in church. Like, he's just cracking jokes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get up and go to this shit. As soon as he left and someone came in there and like, oh, the Lord, and you're sinning, I'm like, what is this shit?
Yeah.
I don't need to listen to this.
I mean, the whole, because we have to explain like Baptists though, you know, because Catholics, they don't do that. Like the sermon's like 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
What are they doing?
Same with Lutherans. Like the
What
sermons.
the fuck are they doing?
It's like,
Why would you ever do that? You go there and you just sit. He reads off something and you leave.
it's just tradition. It's about the ritual of it all, you know? Like, you know, Baptists don't always do communion and stuff, but sometimes a preacher will go for like 45 minutes, like a long time, you know? But, you know, because they're going so long, they have to make it funny, you know? So they're a little bit comedian, but the other thing is they have to be, like, they got to be able to get that just fervor, you know, that passion going where, you know, they get into it and they say, you know, like, and that was the Lord. He said that, you know, and it was beautiful to see because you could see the crowds wrapped up in it. I still remember some of these episodes, man. Like after 9/11, we went to Prestonwood Church in Dallas, which is like 25,000 members. Like it's huge. And they have like a giant stadium and stuff. And I remember the guy, his name was, I think it was Jack Graham. And, oh man, he played that audience so beautifully. Like what he did is like, you know, so they got a big American flag, of course, behind everybody, you know? So everybody's feeling patriotic and stuff like that. And then, like, as he's coming up to the crescendo, he goes into this poem that he wrote. And it was all, like, very stern and strong, like, I'm not weak, I am not a wimp, we are a strong country, and we will rise up, and we will come above this, and, you know, just gets into it, and then the whole choir at the very end of it goes into this song, we are the army of the Lord, you know, and you're just like, oh, you know, and there's people crying, and people just hands in the air like they just don't care.
Were you one of those?
No, but I remember just thinking, I certainly felt it. I remember the feeling.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing the reaction. That's what I remember. Like everyone was just in awe, just fucking wrapped right into it.
Isn't that an incredible phenomenon?
Oh, yeah.
Where the group just sinks in and they all feel the same thing?
Dude, mob mentality is powerful. Whew, absolutely.
Shit.
Like I'm a firm believer, so I've studied a lot of American history. I really do think that American history is the history of labor. And what I mean by that is like people getting really pissed off about money, coming together and like acting as a movement. Like seriously, you look at all the major changes in American political systems, it's fucking workers.
Money.
Yeah, well, I mean, the tea tax, right? Like all these taxes from England, and that's the Revolutionary War. They're like, fuck taxes. We're breaking off from you assholes, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and the same thing with the, you know, the Great Depression. Like people think it's, FDR saved it. No, it was like millions of workers protesting, saying, we're dying. There's no food. And we can't take care of ourselves. The government has to do something. They marched on Washington, man. There were a couple times where like, like Washington couldn't pay veterans. Like they were like, oh, sorry, we're out of money. And the veterans like marched on Washington, and they brought out the military to like stifle and like put down the veterans and stuff. And America was just like, fuck that. And like it changed everything. They were like, shit, we gotta we got to make sure we take care of our people better. You know, mobs have power, big power. They scare people.
Nowadays, mobs are too fractured. It's not everybody as a whole, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there has to be some big,
Yes.
overwhelming issue
Yep.
that transcends the, the dichotomies of politics, you know?
You got it.
It's just too fucking hard, man. You know, everybody's thinking Democrat, Republican these days. Yeah. Ready for the next one?
Yes, please.
All right. Okay. Jace, do you remember the Dirty Bird?
Oh, the dance, yeah.
Yeah.
This was Jamal Anderson, I believe. He only played a couple seasons for the Falcons. But
Yeah.
just distinct touchdown dances, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so good.
The Dirty Bird, baby.
Because you think of Atlanta and they're the Falcons. Atlanta's kind of a dirty town anyway. But you know, it's gonna be a dirty bird, man. But he had it.
It was a great little dance, man.
It was a great dance.
The crowd would do it with him, you know.
One of the best touchdown dances I've ever seen because it was smooth.
Yeah.
And he was good.
Played for the Falcons, right?
He had about 2 or 3 years where he was pretty fucking good.
That's
and then
about-
he kind of
yeah.
faded out.
That's
it
how it
was a
works.
great dance, man.
Yeah, man.
It was a great dance. Everybody was doing it at school. I just remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we were trying to think of other great touchdown
Well, who was
dances.
Vic's buddy? He said he I don't know who it was.
If you ever get a chance, man, there's a friend of our dad's. His name's Kelly Washington. He used to play for the Bengals, wide receiver. But he had a touchdown dance called the Squirrel Dance. And when you see it, the first thing I think is like, he moves like a stripper. Like his movements,
Yeah.
this man on the football field moves like his mother had to be a stripper. And no derogatory way. It's just like he looks like he's on stage with the pole dancing.
Yeah, his booty had way too much movement.
Man.
Like it was one of those things where you could see just those what do I always say, the pistons, like the chicka chicka chicka,
Yeah.
you know, with the ass and stuff like that. And he got into it. Like it was a proper like dance, man.
He did.
Like damn.
But see,
you
and
know?
there's people out there that are like, oh man, touchdown dances are no good. You need to be humble. I'm like,
What?
I agree if the touchdown dance sucks. If you're going to dance, do it fucking right.
Yeah.
You know, get in there and just be like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. That was great. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
It's the signature,
Yeah.
you know.
It's your signature dance.
One for the
man.
highlight reel.
That's right.
Doing the Dirty Bird after it comes in there.
Do a good one, man.
You know?
Yeah, do your signature little move and make sure it's smooth. Make sure it looks
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, you know that's funny. Like nobody's gonna remember, like that guy's touchdowns. Nobody's gonna remember his stats, but they will remember the Dirty Bird.
The Dirty Bird, man.
They will.
I still remember how to do it. It's incredible.
Dirty
It's like
Bird,
20
baby.
years later, I can still dance it.
Yeah. Okay. Wide receivers with big egos.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking in particular about. You remember Chad Ochocinco,
Oh, yeah.
who changed his last name to Ochocinco?
Fucking, it sounds so good, Ocho Cinco, too. I love Chad. I love Chad.
He like raced a thoroughbred horse. like I bet I could be it. You know, like those. It's good stuff.
My
man.
favorite Chad moment was some game, and they're reviewing a play, like to see if it was a catch or not. And he walks up behind the ref, and they got it on TV. He's ready. Ref. He's got $1. He's trying to give the ref $1, and they fined him. They're like, "Oh, it's $10,000 fine."
10,000.
I can't remember how much. It was funny,
Oh man.
but they fined his ass. Chad's just a funny cat trying to crack jokes, and he was on a shitty team. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, to be on the Bengals.
Yeah.
They've never got one, right? They never got.
No,
a Super
they made
Bowl?
it to the Super Bowl once a long time ago.
Yeah.
My least favorite was T.O., man.
Terrell
T.O.
Owens, man.
What the fuck?
He had talent.
Nah, he dropped a lot of passes.
I don't
You know, he dropped too fucking many. He was a monster, though.
Yeah.
He just pissed me off. I don't know why.
He had the pretty boy mentality.
Pretty boy?
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't remember what was that HBO show where they
Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks. They did one on the Dallas Cowboys, and I remember like just Terrell. He had that big white smile and big fancy room and all that sort of stuff. Like
Yeah.
you got the feeling he was separate from the team. He was his own entity.
You know, he went to a tiny little college, Chattanooga, and then when he got drafted, they're like, yeah, he might be okay. And then he became a star. I think he was a late bloomer.
Yeah.
I think it was too much. Like it just absorbed the ego. And then you got that new one, this Antonio Brown. You hear about him? He played for the Steelers. He got traded to the fucking Raiders.
No.
Didn't even play a game.
Oh.
Got kicked off for behavior detrimental to the team. Then went to the Patriots. The Patriots dropped him. You know what I mean? Because of assault allegations.
Well, that means he's probably going to end up in Dallas. That's what I think. Yeah.
The guy's got issues, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just I don't know what it is about the receiver. You know what I mean? I don't think you get hit as much. You know, they're so protected nowadays. You catch the ball, you're a fast little fucker. I don't know.
Do you know what I miss? I miss, like, star defensive players, you know? Like, just the terrifying guy who's coming for you.
Can't hit anymore, man.
Dude, this is such a specific memory, but I remember watching Nebraska when Ndamukong Suh was playing for him. And like it's Nebraska. All they got is football. There's nothing else, man. Like, have you ever seen that stadium? It's just the one building in the entire state. It's just this massive cathedral.
It's a fucking horrible state.
Oh man, but Ndamukong Suh, like he would be there, and every time he'd get a sack, the whole crowd would just go Suh.
He almost won them at the conference title single-handedly. That guy was a monster.
It's terrifying. Just terrifying. It was great.
He's such a dirty player, too. He's stepping on people's hands, kicking people.
Just rage.
But when you hear him interviewed, he is like intelligent and articulate.
Oh, no way. I've never heard him interviewed.
He's not stupid. He's just like, oh, thank you for having me today. You know, we had a hard, he's smart. But when he gets out there, he just turns into an animal.
Wow.
It makes me like him a little more.
There's stuff like, I love stuff like that. Do you remember, what was the name? Tiki Barber. You remember the Cowboys running back?
No, he was not a Cowboys. He was the Giants running back.
No, sorry. Who was the Cowboys running back with the hair, the big dreadlocks?
Marion Barber.
Marion Barber, excuse me. I remember we were watching that Hard Knocks show. He was just a solid little running back. You know what I mean?
There was, again, about 2 or 3 years where he was the best running back in the league.
He was solid.
Running over people.
Just like he was reliable. He
runner, was mean.
You know?
He ran hard.
And I remember on that Hard Knocks, they're showing like T.O., he's got the party going on and stuff like that. And they're like, and then other players, they prefer to live another way. And it was Barber in his room playing a grand piano.
And playing it well.
Playing like exquisite classical music. And you're like, who is this man?
And the other thing, I never heard him speak. He never gave an interview. It was just like, it wasn't his thing.
Yeah.
He was just like, I'm going to play my piano and run over people. And I love that, too.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I love that he plays piano and then goes out there and tries to hurt people.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
That's how, like, I think that's more character, you know?
That is character. One of my favorite players of all time.
Oh, God bless the guy. I forgot about him. Are the Cowboys any good now? Or no?
They're mediocre as always.
Well, there you go. All right. I
was born in Dallas. That's why I like Cowboys. Don't hold it against me.
Sexy places. You know any sexy places, Chase?
This is when we came up with on LSD.
Yeah.
I mean, are we talking about like a country, an island, or like a restaurant?
Well, how we were doing it is Bruce was talking about some island that he went to in Florida, and he was like, it's a sexy place, man. Between Florida and Georgia is a sexy place, you know?
Sexy place.
I've been to a couple sexy places.
Like what?
Okay, so I remember when in Australia, just outside of Newcastle, I can't remember the name. It was a little beach town, and it was tiny little beach town. But how they did it is it was all these coves, and each cove had like a house, like little baby cove. But like it was like having a little miniature valley all to yourself, and each cove had like a little house with a porch, And man, that was like private island. You know what I mean? That was sexy.
Where was this?
Australia.
Oh, in Australia.
Yeah. Like it was super cool. Oh, of course, the Thailand Mushroom Hill in Thailand.
What?
Yeah, you don't know about Mushroom Hill. I've only heard about this place, but it's a place in Thailand. My buddy Ryan went there many times, and he said it's a whole hill where they got little bungalows right on the beach. Like it goes down to the beach, and at the very top, there's a smoothie place with mushrooms. magic mushrooms, and they like put the magic mushrooms in the smoothie. You go down to your little bungalow and you trip. And he's like, yeah, just like there's all these people, beautiful people doing mushrooms, and a lot of them are having sex.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. How about you?
You know, if I'm thinking just on pure beauty, like that background on the computer, I think of Tahiti with little bungalows over the water.
Any place you've been?
Yeah.
Medellin's kind of a sexy place.
Yeah, it really is.
Mm.
You know, Medellin, Colombia, that's just because there's so many attractive people.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Now you got me thinking about it. So basically, this is a city built in the middle. It's in a valley in the jungle, 5,000 feet up. So the temperature is always about 70 to 75.
It's on the equator, too, so it never changes. There's
The
no
temperature
seasons.
never changes.
Yeah.
But literally, vegetation is coming out of everywhere besides where they've cleared.
Yeah.
But these people are just, you go to a coffee shop and you're like, damn, that girl's like a 8. You know what I mean? You go down the street, there's a little bookstore. That girl's like a 9. That guy's stunning. Like, the people are beautiful. Every time I go down there, I see, and I'm there for like a week or two, I see a handful of tents.
Yeah.
Tents.
But the thing to remember, too, is that it's not just a look. Like, these people exude sexuality.
Yes, they do.
Like, I've never, like, you know, I'm as gay as they come. But even me with some Colombian women, like, they'll walk past me and I'm just like, what's this energy? Like, what do you want to have sex with me? Like, it's just like they are exuding it. The way they walk, just the way they walk has a sexuality
down there,
to
man.
it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There was this Christopher Ryan, Dr. Christopher Ryan. He had a theory that there's this disease that cats carry, and like 90% of Latin Americans have it. You know, it's like this very minor thing, and there's a theory that it makes people more sexual.
What?
I know it's a pretty wacky theory. And
How did
stuff
they
like
get the
that.
disease?
It's just one of these things that comes from cats, you know, but it's very, very contagious, and like it's generational. Like,
Huh.
it goes on to next generations and stuff.
Well, you've talked about the history of Latin people and how they like to fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the people in South America, they're a mix of everything. They've
Yeah.
got every single mix in them. You could just tell.
Yeah.
Little white, little black, little Latin, probably a little Asian.
In Mexico, they call it the cosmic race because, I mean, it really is everything. But see, the thing that people forget, like, so the conquistadors, when they came over, like, they brought their guns and they brought their maps and they brought their armor. But you know what they didn't bring? Their wives.
Yep.
Yeah. And so every single one of them took a native wife. They took a native wife, and they all had families, and that's where you get the mesecitos from.
Right.
And then you have a huge slave population. I mean, massive. Like, you think America had a slave population? No, dude. The Spaniards ran the entire slave trade, you know? And they just shipping them in constantly to work the mines and the sugarcane plantations, you know? And it all just got mixed, you know? Like, half Spanish, half Mesecito, half Indian, half
Everybody was fucking
black.
everybody.
Yeah, everybody was fucking everybody. You
Yeah.
know, and I mean, it's one of those things where it's so common that I think sex is not approached in the same way. You look at have you ever looked at like Latin American newspapers? They have nudity in them.
Really?
Yeah,
Europe does too, though.
yeah. I mean, exactly. Like, America's inherently conservative, but just that idea of like it's not a big deal.
Right.
Sex is sex.
And you couldn't. I remember you were studying it in grad school, right? They were talking about South America, and you couldn't bring that up. The fact that, hey, man, you know a big difference between this North America and South America is that everybody's pretty much interbred down there. Like, they wouldn't allow you to go in that direction in class, would they? To talk about it.
I don't remember. It's been a while. I remember definitely taking. I took a class on Mexican American history, and an amazing class, by the way. And it was led by this guy named Miguel Lavario, who was an outstanding professor, really, really good, from El Paso. And his thing was Borderlands. Like, he always talked about Borderlands, you know. But we read a lot of books about sexuality, you know. Like a lot of really intense ones. I remember reading this one about a lesbian, and she talked about fucking in Catholic churches and stuff like that. Like, really, like, intense. Like, I just want to say fuck it to the church, that sort of thing.
But, I mean, if I was in a class on Latin America, having been down there, I'm like, why does this culture exude sexuality? They took me to a museum where they were showcasing this artist, this female artist, and there's this one picture of this man, and he's got his hand on the head, and it looks like a woman. And I'm like, oh, is this guy getting head? And I read the title, and it says "Me and My Father." I was like,
oh, Jesus
holy
Christ.
shit.
Yeah.
This is in the middle of a museum, man.
Yeah, well.
It's crazy.
Art is pretty sexual.
Yes.
Did you ever see Georgette O'Keeffe?
No. I've heard of that.
She does flowers.
Oh, yeah.
But do you know, her story?
Tell it. I've heard of this name.
Georgette O'Keeffe, she does orchids, these beautiful, beautiful flowers. She's a New Mexican artist. But the trick is every single painting is a vagina. And once you say it, and you look at them, you're like, oh my God, every single one is a vagina. you can't unsee it once you know. And they ask her about it, and she's just like, just it's just crazy.
What's going on down there, man?
Well, sex is sexy, and sex sells, especially when we're talking about art.
Well, our father dates a Colombian woman down there.
He's a moron.
And what I've learned from all the other guys, too, that's how they solve problems. Instead of really talking it out, they fuck it out.
There might be something to that.
Yes, it could work in some twisted way.
Well, have you ever done couples therapy?
Yes.
Probably more difficult, I imagine. But have you ever talked
more
about...
entertaining.
Have you ever talked about the sexual dynamic,
Sometimes, and then a lot of times they won't go there.
Right.
Yep.
So there's the old Jewish theory, Larry David, and he's just, I'm always outraged about blah, 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 But the idea is, Jewish families let out everything, all the aggression, all of the anger, and then, you're still family at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's just you fucking express yourself, and then you move on.
Right.
That
seems more in the American scheme of things in a lot of ways.
Well, I don't know.
Not totally, though.
I think a lot of the American way is, never directly. I think America can be very passive-aggressive.
Fuck yeah.
And that's no good, man. Passive-aggressive, that's the ultimate Cold War. And Cold Wars just keep going and going and
so
going.
If your approach is passive-aggressive, much better to just fuck it out and move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I hate to this is personal again, but a great example of this, Frank, the guy my mother married, who I hate. We've got all kinds of issues with this guy. I've said many times, hey, you want to? Let's just sit down and let's just talk about everything. You and me alone. Let's talk it out.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I even offered last time I saw him. Told Mom, yeah, he still wants to sit down. I'll sit down. And silence. Why? Because passive-aggressive is easier, Passive-aggressive can go on indefinitely.
Yeah. It is easier.
Yeah, but if you got the courage to step out into the fire, then at least you get burned, but it's over,
Right. Or let's go to the bedroom and let's knock out this tension.
I think there's probably a lot of truth to that. There's the old theory of they don't do this technique anymore, but it used to be, because I've read about it, when boys would fight in middle school or high school or whatever, something they would used to do is they take the two boys after school and they'd throw them out back and say, you boys fight it out, give them some boxing gloves and just, I read about it.
Idea.
Yeah. And you know what almost always happened?
Buddies.
Yep. They fucking let out the aggression. There you go.
Yep.
And that's the sort of thing that we shy away from these days because we don't like the idea of aggression being expressed in a school.
Right.
But at the same time, there is a time and a season for everything. And sometimes there's a time for violence, Seriously, have you ever had to punch a wall,
Yes.
There's a time where you just got to let it out.
That's right.
And sometimes there's a time to fuck,
Concur.
Especially if you're with a woman and she won't shut the fuck up, well, shut her up with your dick, Right.
I'm glad you're saying that you can get away with it as a gay man.
There's that great David Tell line where he's talking he said, I can't suck your dick. I'm pregnant. Is your mouth pregnant?
Yeah.
Just like
Crude, man.
it's crude, but at the same time, like there in the gay world, you can top or bottom, which means you can be dominant or you can be submissive. And I think one of the great advantages to being gay is that you can be both. If you want to shut the fuck up and you be submitted by somebody else, you can. If you want to be the one calling the shots and you want to be the one running the show, you can. And one's not better than the other. It's just a matter of expressing that sexual energy in a unique way. And that's something that people, I feel like they're suffering because they don't get to experience that. They can only think one-dimensionally. And that's unfortunate. It really is. All right.
I'm just thinking about it. I agree. I think the versatility of being gay is a huge advantage,
Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that people need to experience all sides of these things.
Well, I was going to get to that. Again, that's the sexuality being fluid, and you have to explore that. You have to kind of, sometimes you're down, sometimes you're up, but it is part of the development as a person, too.
Yeah.
It is way too suppressed in this fucking country.
Well, and again, we come back to that issue. You got a couple and they're having problems, maybe fuck it out. Maybe like the key with some couples is swap the role,
How would you do that?
Well,
strap it up?
No, but
some people strap it up.
Well, we know some people.
We know some people that strap it up.
Yeah, we know who you are. But but so for example, it could be as easy as having a woman on top, and she's controlling the pace.
Oh,
she's
not punching me though, is she?
No.
Okay, good.
No, but you're just sitting back and she's running all of that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or she's the one telling you what to do. Like get down. It could be, or just the opposite. You could take control and dominate the bedroom. But whatever the case, it's interesting how sex can reflect everyday life. There have been times when where sex has been a time where I need to be the one getting fucked, because it's like life is too hard, and you just feel like just somebody just fucking take it, somebody take control, because I can't handle it anymore,
Yeah. Well, would say I've never really had the urge to get fucked, but there are times where I'm just like, I don't want to fuck.
Yeah.
Maybe just have a woman come over and caress you or something like that,
Yeah, and see, that's the other thing. Like, there are times when it's not even about sex. I was talking about this with my buddy Glenn last night. There are times when you just want intimacy. Like, you just want another human being's touch.
Sure.
I tell you, that's one of the things that this social distancing is going to completely mess up. Like, it's just people need human contact. They need to feel the connectivity between two human beings. I mean, it's just important. And I hate that it's being taken away. Like, just to cuddle with somebody. Simple as that sounds, man, that can mean the world.
It really can.
All right. I guess that's it, brother.
That's it.
That's it.
Out of time, man.
Hour and 3 minutes.
A different type of podcast today. A little more along just about life and perspectives, and
Bit more serious.
Well, that's okay. We have a range of topics, and sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're serious.
All over the place today.
That's it, man.
All right. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.